The first thing is that the elites are selling off their holdings. Have you guys seen this? Like Zuckerberg is selling massive shares. Gates is selling shares. Bezos. Yeah. Like he doesn't even need the money. And there's a lot of these guys that are selling massive shares in their company, compiling their money for something. As you're a trader, Christopher. So what does this signal to you?
It's not good. And not only are they dumping holdings, they're opening massive short positions. And this is something that the last time I saw this was 2008.
Yep.
Companies like the owners of like Jeff Bezos and all these, this is considered technically insider trading because they know that something's in the works. And I've noticed that not only a lot of the CEOs are doing it, but also folks that are involved in legislation.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping my dad's watching this because I have been on him because he's, spent his entire life building a portfolio that he retired on. And he was very successful over the term of his life. He's like, what am I supposed to do? Put the money under the bed, the mattress? I'm like, Dad, I whatever. Just get it out of the market that's connected to the dollar. It's. I mean, they've made incredible gains over the years because he's had it in the market for, my entire life. So I think, there's not much higher than it can go. The Dow is like in the mid 30s or something. It's like record high levels. So it's there. I'd rather him, pull it out and buy gold bars or buy property or just land or anything, but to keep it in the dollar market.
It definitely looks like something's going to happen to the dollar, which is just another sign that means we're getting closer to the control over how we buy and sell. So if the dollar tanks, they have to replace it with something.
And here's the thing is, if let's just say I was in his shoes, I wouldn't keep it in cash. I wouldn't put it in any currency because I'm not sure that any currency is as safe at this point. I would have hard assets. Yes, I would have hard assets, precious metals, land and precious metals. I know there's other things like food and weapons and other stuff of that nature, but the safest bets are putting it in gold and silver and land. Owning land that the bank cannot take back from you. Owning land is always a safe bet because the planet gets more and more crowded. There's only so much land. And, even though housing itself may take a dip, the cost of land is very stable. So, Dad, if you're watching, please, I've been telling him for months, Dad, get out of the market, please. I'm begging you. So.
All right, moving on into the next category of news here. I'm going to actually combine some of these. Okay. And it's interesting. I was thinking we should call these news segments like in the days of Noah, like observing the days of Noah, because it's just like as these things like ramp up, it's like you're starting to see like evil run rampant. You're starting to see the rule of law no longer being followed. It just outright ignored and stuff like that.
It really is.
Also with the immigration stuff all across the entire world. So this next story was Michigan asks residents to start housing migrants. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, what a mess.
Have you seen the migrants coming over the border? I mean, I'm all for. I'm
kinda, I don't know that I'd house them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for helping the needy and the poor and the hungry, but it's got to be somebody I know and trust, or somebody who I know is not going to be dangerous. And some of these people coming across the border, I would not house.
If a family with kids and a mother and a father knocked on my door, and my discernment told me that we should help them, I would consider that. But from what I've seen, as far as the majority coming across, that's not been the case. It's mostly military age males by themselves from different countries, Arabic countries or African countries or Islamic countries or Chinese countries or China. I know, not Chinese countries, but you understand what I'm getting at. So it's...
that's come across. I don't know if it's correct, but I thought was under the impression it was 10 million. The latest number I heard was 17 million. Did you hear about that?
I didn't, but it wouldn't surprise me.
And the reason I bring that number up is if it's 10 million and there's 300 million in our country, then that is one person for every 30. So you would, that's a lot of people coming over. And then if it's 17 million, that's like one person for every 15 people that live here.
Well, do the quick math. 4,000 to 5,000 a day for the last 42 months.
Yeah, it's just
whatever that math comes out to.
Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? What are their intentions? It's like as we're looking at these days of Noah and as we're looking at the end times in the book of Revelation, there's a persecution coming, and this with those kind of numbers coming into our country and other countries, fighting age males, you can kind of see a setup for a kind of persecution.
Yeah. So one of the stories that I think associated with that is they are now passing legislation that will provide like a $10,000 line of credit or bonus, or I'm not sure if I fully understood it, but essentially there's no qualifications required. You don't even have to have an ID.
That was in New York, right?
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but there's families that are struggling to put food on the table, and I understand we're to help everybody. Though I feel like the citizens of our country should be the priority. I understand helping the migrants that are leaving areas that are persecuted, but I feel like we, the family of the country, are like the redheaded stepchilds. And it's just for some reason it doesn't add up. I can't put my finger on it. What do you think, Brenda?
It's orchestrated. It's intentional. It's on purpose.
Yeah. You're right.
The question is are we going to be here for when the persecution starts? Who's all going to be here? I think some of us, and I just speak generally of the 7 churches, because we know Philadelphia has said that they're going to be kept from the trials that are coming on the whole world. But what about Ephesus and Smyrna and Pergamum and all the other churches? If they're, commensurate with churches that are in existence today, which is my personal belief, is that they had, in order to have those attributes, they had to be real churches at one point in time. But those attributes are applicable today. I mean, you could basically categorize people into those into those different attributes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You broke down just about everybody we know into different churches based off of the data that you've compiled on, the personalities and their behavior associated with those churches. And funny enough, I'm actually from Philadelphia, which is even funnier.
There you go. There you are.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah. I like community. Community.
It's pretty funny. Christopher and I, we joke, but it's only half joking. I'm Smyrna and he's Philadelphia. Because I don't like people. I'm antisocial.
He's a God, but he's focused on God.
Large groups of people because I have. It doesn't matter what people think of me. It has no effect on what I do or say. So you can put me in a group of people, and if God tells me to say something, I'll say something. And it's happened before. He's
focused on serving our Lord, and which is I totally respect that. Personalities are personalities. We're all different in different ways. He would rather focus on the Lord and Scripture and connecting the prophetic dots. That's great. And, when you have two opposite personalities, it meshes well for something like this. Because I love interacting with the community, but I'm not a data guy like he is. I struggle on the small details and connecting dots and all the fine paperwork and logistics behind the scene with legal and websites. If I was responsible for that, we would be crashing and burning. But what I do
Yeah,
like
if I was
is,
responsible for that stuff, I'd be crashing and burning too. I'm thankful for my husband.
yeah. But I love interacting with the community, so it's a great mix.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. They
You wanna
said
move
New
on?
York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone in the
Yep.
chat said New York was the state 10,000.
Yeah, I thought so. Unless there's any other pertinent news that you've heard of that you want to talk about today, I'm really excited to hear what Brenda has to share today.
Well, Texas made a huge announcement today. They are building a forward operating base literally on the border of Mexico at Eagle Pass. They're spending, I think it's $5 billion. Well, you have to keep in mind that all of their National Guard soldiers, they had scattered out in different hotels, and sometimes it would take them an hour to drive in for deployment. So, but they're literally building a forward operating base that will be infantry, hardware, armor, everything. Texas will be a no-go for anybody trying to come across, and that's going to be a major thorn in the administration side because they want that. They want those folks coming through. And he was saying that just at Eagle Pass, there was 4,000 to 5,000 people a day coming through at one point.
Wow.
Yeah. And they said it's down to maybe 1% or less. So that's fantastic. Thank you for watching this segment from our live show. We are live every night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for the Sabbath period.